No Tap November is when MMA fans and fighters all over the world try their very best not to tap. I'm sure you've seen the memes. I asked you for submissions of your favorite submissions so that you could work on your no tap game. Let's check them out. Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Jesse and I'm the founder and grandmaster of MMA, Mexican martial arts. Mira, if you're in the streets and it's a matter of life or death, there's no shame in tapping. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but to each his own. Today, we're gonna be looking at some fools that tapped and some fools that didn't tap. Igor Vovchanchyn versus Valentino Vereen. Valentino Vereen is known as a submission artist, as opposed to his brother, who is more known for getting knocked out by Nogano. So when he got the heel hook going, a lot of people thought that it was over because Igor was known as a kickboxer, not a grappler. But Igor used a very effective technique called common sense and just kept rolling away from the pressure, which is the answer to most BJJ moves. So Valentin impatiently tries to get another heel hook, and he got caught slipping. If that fool wouldn't have been wearing shoes, then his foot would have been sweaty, and he could have slipped right out of it. But Igor capitalized on that traction.
Here he is with shoes on, got the traction, doesn't have to worry about a leg lock from Vovchanchyn.
Nick Diaz versus Takanori Gomi. Nick Diaz took a lot of pride in this one, and rightfully so, because it was his pride debut. In my opinion, he looked tired and he was throwing a lot of soft punches.
Not hitting him hard. That's the problem, is that Gomi's not getting hit hard enough to make him put his hands up.
We later found out the reason why. He was heavily under the influence. This elevated his resistance to pain and boosted his creativity, like Bob Dylan.
Mailboxes drip like lampposts in the twisted birth canal of the Coliseum.
So much so that he was able to contort his body into the Gogo Plata technique. I can't do that one because my quads are too thick. Von Flue choke. The Von Flue choke has only ever been done in the UFC 6 times, and 4 of those times were by old Vincent Prue. It has been rumored that fools won't even fight him anymore without getting their flu shot first, but it's not gonna matter for long because they're gonna change the name of the choke to the Von Prue choke. Kind of like they're changing being a diva during interviews to pulling a Masvidal.
You guys know, start asking questions about so-and-sos. Number 37 of over there, the guy from another planet. Meetings adjourned.
Josh Barnett versus Dean Lister. At Metamoris 4, Josh Barnett proved to the world that fighting in a full body rash guard should be mandatory. The whole time I was watching the fight, all I could think of was Will Ferrell.
We're good, streaky! Yes!
Anyway, a lot of people were surprised to see his catch wrestling defeat Dean Lister's BJJ. Catch wrestling is now one of the few things to openly destroy BJJ, along with Sambo, a somewhat decent takedown defense, and staph infection. The Korean Zombie versus Leonard Garcia. Sometimes you have to choke fools out, but you don't feel good about it, you know? It's just business. Well, for Korean Zombie, business is pleasure. And he doesn't get down like American Me. He's a De Niro fan.
Look at me. Look at me.
When he choked out Leonard Garcia, he wanted to see his face.
He's got a twister. Oh!
Final seconds of the round. Trying to
He's
get
got it.
It is
Oh!
Supposedly, that's how zombies survive. They feast on the emotions of the living. I'm here to interrupt your regularly scheduled programming with an announcement. I'm sure that by now, you have heard about McDojo Life and how they're always keeping the martial arts legit Well, right now the homie over there is trying to have a documentary made so that he exposes all those frauds and stuff like that, so they stop stealing people's money and hurting fools and stuff like that. So we are trying to support him and his project, and we would love support from you as well. So I didn't really think this through when I started recording, so I don't know like where I'm gonna send you. But like if you go to Instagram or Facebook or Twitter and you go to @McDojoLife, or you go to the YouTube channel, you could see that he has a video asking for your support, so you could tag Netflix and all that. But yeah, the homie at McDojoLife is trying to have a documentary made where they keep the martial arts legit and expose all those dirty vatos trying to do a lot of sketchy stuff, you know. So go check out McDojoLife and show some love and support. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Jesse versus Flaco. Now we transition back to a moment of business.
It's strictly business.
In Mexican American Meat Part 1, I choked out Flaco. And a lot of people were hating on my technique. You see, there's a lot of casuals out there, and they think that the only thing you could do from behind is the rear naked choke. Chale. What you're looking at right here is an Okuri Erijime. Mira, I don't always fight with the gi, but when I do, I get down with Okuri Erijime. My technique was so slick that we had to shut down production for like 3 hours while Flaco regained consciousness. Frank Mir versus Noguera. A lot of people thought that Frank Mir won this one, but if you look closely, this is not the case. Noguera, like Flaco, didn't tap. That's a winner in my book. If you tap, you lose. If you don't tap, you win. Respect. You still lose the fight, but it's not as bad. Demian Maia versus Chael Sonnen. Long before Chael tapped to Tito, he tapped to Trevor Prangley and Forrest Griffin and Jeremy Horn and Renato Sobral and Jeremy Horn again and Paul Filho and Anderson Silva and Demian Maia. And I already know that Chael thinks that he's sunning me with his YouTube channel, but that fool got sunned with a triangle. But I'll see your triangle and I'll raise you Sakuraba against the Gracie. Sakuraba versus Renzo Gracie. Not a lot of people know this, but Sakuraba is not an MMA fighter. That fool's a contract killer. He was hired to wipe out the entire Gracie family, but he had to keep fighting in order to avoid blowing his cover. But I have to give props to Renzo on this one. That fool didn't tap. He said in an interview that he became a samurai that day and that he would cherish that moment forever. He still lost though. Demian Maia versus Ben Askren. People always say that they don't want to have to look back someday and wonder, what if? Ben Askren should have done that. He should have stayed retired and always asked himself if he could have been great in the UFC. But now he has his answer. I don't want to take anything away from Demian Maia, but when I watch the submission, it looks like a WWE fight to me. And I would know. The way that Askren just chooses to roll over, like it's all part of the plan, it's like he just gave up. And then he did the worst thing that you could possibly do when you're getting choked out. He tapped and he still passed out. Hey fool, if you're gonna tap and you're gonna go out like that anyway, then just tap. Why just lay there waiting, not even trying to fight out of it? Or if you're gonna pass out, then pass out. This fool was 5 seconds away from going out like a warrior. Holly Holmes goes out swinging and this fool taps. He was tapping on the door to the land of sleep. Mira, No Tap November is your opportunity to prove yourself as a warrior. For many are called, but few have chosen not to tap. Eventually, you could become like me, and then it's No Tap November all year long. I just want to say thank you for your submissions of your favorite submissions. I would appreciate it very much if you would like this video, especially because YouTube has been shadow banning some of my videos. So I need some help with the exposure, you know? I'm like the Mexican Steven Crowder. Thank you for watching Mexican Martial Arts. Appreciate it. Good looking out. Late. Hey, what's up everybody? I just want to say thank you again for making it all the way to the very end of the video. It really means a lot to me. And again, if you will consider liking, subscribing, commenting, all that YouTube stuff, because you have to play the game, you know? If you don't do things the right way, YouTube tries to hide your videos, and then I'm gonna end up on Vimeo or something like that. So if you really appreciate the videos and you really wanna help support me, then please just click all that stuff and YouTube will be like, all right, Jesse, all right, I see you. I appreciate it. You could go ahead and click some of these too while you're at it.